thoughtful ideas and suggestions for guests and topics.
Great events, programs, and all the
Welcome to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. I'm your host, Lawrence Payne. To our regular viewing audience, welcome. To those joining us perhaps for the first time here on HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, we can be found now every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and again at 6 p.m., Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. As always, at the top of the hour, let me thank you for your very thoughtful calls, emails, and text messages concerning shows we've aired previously on Dialogue Houston, but very importantly, thank you for your ideas, suggestions for guests and upcoming segments and topics to be covered on future segments of Dialogue Houston. For after all, this is your public affairs, community affairs show here on HCC TV, proudly starting its 26th season. I want to thank you for that. We look forward to having great shows for you this year. It is also the 50th anniversary of the college, and we'll be highlighting some of those things from the past to see kind of where we are and where we're going. It is that wonderful historic year of vision for 2020. We have a great show planned for you today because after all, this is January. Today is actually the middle of January, January 15th, Martin Luther King's birthday. There are a couple of things that happen in this city religiously in January, and then in the show the next time on the 29th, we'll be talking about something happening in February. That's another tradition. But we're really going to look at the history and the understanding that this year is the 32nd year of the Frontiers Houston Club doing their Martin Luther King breakfast that we started 32 years ago. My guests and I were both involved in the very beginning of this wonderful breakfast honoring Dr. King, and it's a scholarship fund development for the Frontiers, who've given millions of dollars over the years. And Lorenza Butler, Jr., who is the Emeritus publisher of the Houston Informer and Texas Freeman, is not only our guest this year to talk about the wonderful event, but is also chair of the event this year. Yes. And it's just so great to have my buddy and friend here, Lorenzo. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, my friend.
Good to have you.
Yes.
So this is, we age ourselves a little bit to say that we were involved in the very first one. This is the 32nd annual.
Correct.
But it's such a great thing.
I was fortunate in 1983 to be with the President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, when he signed the bill in. And then several years later, the first celebrated holiday, I was with Stevie Wonder and the King children, who I went to college with in Atlanta.
That's right, yeah.
So it has involved me finally being the chairman of the 2020 Greater Houston Frontiers Martin Luther King Memorial Scholarship Breakfast, which is 1,000 of your best friends.
Yes, indeed.
This Monday coming up at 8 a.m. at the Hilton Americas, 4th floor. Tickets still can be gotten online at ghfrontiers.com. And you need to have your face in the place.
We do.
With Super Tuesday, only several weeks away, those who think they need to be elected, want to be elected,
we'll be there.
Need to be in the room.
They'll be there. It's a great room and a great crowd to work.
Yes.
You have a little bit of all cross sections of Houstonians there.
Correct.
And it really is one of those events where getting the crowd to sit down and settle down because everybody's meeting and greeting and networking is always a great challenge, but you always have a great MC.
But it's for the kids.
It's for the kids.
We plan to give
scholarship money being raised for the kids.
We have given millions over the years. We plan to give out 50 scholarships from the proceeds of this year's breakfast based on our numbers. And so in order to apply for a GH Frontier Scholarship, and which is also good for community college.
Oh, yes. We've had some from HCC.
So you can apply for, by mid-March, you need to apply. So you can go on the website today, ghfrontiers.com, and see what the process is. See if you want to be a sponsor. See if you want to be just a donate some money. Remember, it's for our children. We need the exposure of college life is very important to everyone. Community college, regular college, secondary college.
And we have a great speaker, a keynote, and also a great honoree this year.
The drum major is Third Ward's own Dr. Joseph Gaye, who's an infectious disease physician. He has saved many lives.
Yes, he has.
Infectious diseases is across the board.
Right.
Okay, and the philanthropist speaker this year is Dr. George Frazier, famous for Frazier.net, which he speaks about building your wealth. And everybody
Yes,
needs to build
yes,
their wealth.
yes, yes.
Because when you get my age and my health, it costs. And you need to know how to
Right.
have money and keep money so you'll be able to give money.
And so you can be a philanthropist.
Yes.
And really begin to do, as he's done and many others in our community have done, to really understand the need to give back and why we give back. It's part of legacy, their own legacy and their children's legacy and their great-grandchildren's legacy. But it's also the thing to do in service to our fellow human being that you and I have talked about many times
Right.
on different shows and segments, some of the panels we've been on together over the years here in the city. It really is that sense of belonging that we have been so greatly benefit, we now need to give back.
Correct. And so we thank you. You have supported this cause, and we want your viewers, please reach out
Yep.
to the Frontiers. And remember, that if you haven't thought about giving, give now.
And the Frontiers operate all year around. The Martin Luther King Scholarship Breakfast is kind of their main thing that they do every year.
And we
But-
do have a golf outing.
But
in
they
the-
do
in
stuff
the
throughout
fall.
the year, a golf outing, another way you can contribute and be part of it. They have committees that they work on throughout the year too. But it really is about the kids, as Lorenzo says, and about the scholarships. So any way that you can engage with the Greater Houston Frontiers and be involved with them, that's very important.
This year, we have our international convention
Oh, that's
coming
right, that's
to
right.
Houston in July. We do have a youth segment called Junior Frontiers. They involve with a lot of service projects, which puts them in line to get a scholarship. But go to ghfrontiers.com and be a part of the 2020 32nd Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Scholarship Breakfast. Thank you.
Couldn't have a better chair for the 2020. I think they held off and waited till this year, particularly to have Lorenzo be the chair, because the 2020 is the vision year. It is a
Yes.
year going forward about how we together as Houstonians are going to work and grow and thrive together in this changing city, because you could write a piece of this history.
My company's
This-
been around since 1893, the oldest continuous black
Right.
newspaper and radio station company west of the Mississippi. So we catalog.
And you catalog all the changes and
Yes.
continue to catalog the changes. So let me ask this real quick in the little minute or so we have left. Where do you see, with the changing demographics of Houston, the changing face of Houston going forward, what are some of those challenges that we have to address really?
Just getting along. What we have in Houston will be the nation in 2050.
Right.
Okay. Me and you want to be around.
Right.
But the reality is, if anybody lives anywhere else outside of Houston, Houston is tomorrow's United States.
And I think, you know,
And if we get along, if we are going through whatever challenges we're going through that God has put before us.
Yep.
But God is going to continue to put more challenges in front of us, and we have to maintain and give.
well, there's a shorter window coming up that I want to reference real quick, and that's 2036, which is the city of Houston bicentennial. We'll be 200 years old. Coincidentally, is also the state of Texas bicentennial. We'll both be 200 years old in 2036. So the question for many of us is, how do we look at that vision for 2036 of what we want Houston to be and become? And particularly the issues that you and I passionately talked about many times, education. We have to fix and get this education thing right. And
Correct.
we can't continue to be satisfied with, depending on which zip code you live in, whether or not you get a good education or
The
not.
reality is, corporate America looks at your workforce, and if your workforce is not educated, and that's one thing we have with Houston Community College.
Yep.
We have with the area colleges that the scholarship sends our kids to. So please, thank you again, and we continue to need your support.
And I'm gonna
GHFrontiers.com.
I'm going to plug it one more time. So here we go. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Scholarship Breakfast, Monday, January 20th, the Hilton Americas Hotel at 8 a.m. Tickets available from www.greaterhoustonfrontiers.com. Lorenzo is the chair of the wonderful gala breakfast this year. And we really want to see you there, because here's the thing that happens. I'm looking right in the camera when I say this. It is one of those rooms in Houston, one of those rare opportunities in a major ballroom of a major hotel that is totally full and packed. But it's also the room where you get to rub shoulders and elbows with so many cross-sections of Houstonians that you never would have an opportunity to meet. It is one of those classic kind of networking things that has developed over these 32 years. It is a safe environment, it's a safe crucible where people can get to know each other and develop those relationships built on mutual trust and respect, because so many people who meet there didn't do the follow-up. They take that person to breakfast or lunch, they get to know them better, and begin to work on projects that benefit this city. It is one of those opportunities that's afforded to us every year as Houstonians. You need to take advantage of it, avail yourselves of it, and make sure that you're part of where we're going. As our good friend Dr. Stephen Kleinberg says, yes, we're the most diverse city in America. We're also the most gated community in America. We're also a lot of other things in America that goes with that diversity. So just being diverse alone without working on coming together, and that sense of belonging that we need to have in this city is not enough. So this is one of those opportunities to do that in Houston. It is coming up. It is easy to do. We look forward to seeing you there. Lorenza, thank you again for wonderfully being here and talking about this opportunity for us. And we're going to look at, after the pause and break, we're coming back, one of the other events that happens here in Houston, that was born here in Houston, that has now gone national, is Lemonade Day. Lemonade Day is one of those simple little entrepreneur projects that has really grown to help people understand, not only young people how to do business, how to be perhaps entrepreneurs, but also the sense of giving back. It's always about the sense of giving back. It is always a sense of servant leadership that the Frontiers have talked about at this breakfast every year, that Lemonade does every year. It is that sense of why the International Frontiers Convention is coming back to Houston. I remember when they were here last time, I was fortunate enough to do a workshop on servant leadership for them. And they really talked about what they're doing in other cities where the Frontiers are part of it. So we have a lot to talk about. This is one of those years as I'm lining up guests and subject matters and issues to talk about. We're covering a whole lot of things. We got to get out of here and take a small pause and break. We come back. It's Lemonade Day. I want to also let you know, stay tuned for the next part of this show, which is looking at this wonderful issue of poverty. We have a wonderful expert who is going to talk to us about poverty. We have a lot to cover in this area today, so we'll see you on the backside in just a moment.
This is Matthew. He's a high school student on the track team. He's trying to decide who to ask to homecoming, but an easier decision was to get dual college history credit from Houston Community College, HCC, for everyone, anytime.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
HCC's online college is officially open. This not only means online classes, but also online degrees and certificates. You can now credential up anytime, anywhere. Join the fast-growing number of students getting their full college education from anywhere they use a laptop. HCC currently offers 32 fully online degrees and will offer 71 next year. You no longer have to find a way or time to get to college. HCC brings college to you.
Meet Lisa. When she's not moving to a Zydeco beat, she's making moves towards a better job with a nursing degree from Houston Community College. Ça c'est bon, Lisa. HCC, for everyone, anytime.
So every year, for the new year, we start the process off early, running through January through the early part of the year to get ready for something called Lemonade Day. The actual Lemonade Day is not till May, but there's a lot that goes on prior to that, a lot of things that build up to that day, so we get all the pieces organized and all the young people engaged in the process. Yes, this is my lemon, and I'm holding it proudly, my Lemonade Day. And my lemonade stand. You see my lemonade stand? See, I got a lemonade stand. So joining us to talk about Lemonade Day is none other than our own Gayle Jackson, who is the city director of Lemonade Day, and so glad to have you here. This is an event that Houstonians look forward to every year. It has just grown and grown now in its 13th year, and we're also now in other cities. Is that correct?
Yes, we're in 80 cities in 4 countries.
80 cities in 4 countries.
Yes.
Phenomenal growth in a short period of time.
Yes, it's wonderful.
And you're our city director here, so you're taking care of Houston.
This is hometown.
Okay, I know.
Since this is hometown, it's really important that we do really wonderful and do great.
And since we started here.
Since we started here, we're very proud.
So let's talk about what's the next event that people can come and join us.
There's so many things coming up. This is the time of year that we have registration open.
Yes.
So we want kids to go ahead with their parents to register them online. Can I say where it is?
Oh, yeah,
yes, please go online to lemonadeday.org/Houston. And as soon as you go on to lemonadeday.org/Houston, you'll see register, and you can register your kids, your friends, your get a group of neighbors together, nieces and nephews. And I will tell you that then they're going to get started from us almost on a weekly basis. They'll be getting emails from us and things that are happening, on what's going on. We want them to start the program early because we want them to really get it and have time to really enjoy the process.
I got to build my stand.
That's right. You got to build your stand.
And my stand's getting more elaborate every year.
Of course it is, and you got to and your recipe.
That's true.
So some of the things we have coming up, we have a best tasting contest that's going to be. We just finalized all that. It's going to be at the Children's Museum.
Oh, good spot. Yes.
Yeah. So the children, we have celebrity judges that will be there, so that's always a good event, and that's going to be March 28th. And then we always do a build-a-stand. We're still firming that up. We do a build-a-stand, we do that, but then we've also got other fun things. We are starting a group of young professionals, and so on the 30th of this month, they are going to be at the Kirby Ice House at 5:30, getting young professionals involved.
Yep.
You know, so many times you get out of college and you're starting and you're thinking, I'd like to give back something. So this is a perfect way to show, young adults, get them in with these fabulous kids, teaching them to be entrepreneurs and business people.
Yep.
Because so many of the things that we do, it's entrepreneurship, it's also financial literacy.
Yes.
It's also all those soft skills. Shake my hand, look me in the eye, stand up straight.
Yep.
And so I adore my job because I get to see these kids on a daily basis change from sometimes just these timid little
I've seen the transition.
Kindergarten through 5th grade. They're shy. They're either behind their mom's, skirt, or they're like, whatever. But then in a period of a month or two, they are standing up tall and being so excited. So another thing we have coming up is the pitch event.
Now that event is very special. I've been to that one. I love that one.
Yes, that is so great. We started this actually just a year ago in the spring at Station Houston. We're back at Station Houston on February 27th. We take 10 groups, some individuals, some big groups, Boys and Girls Club will be there. We'll have Houston Parks and Rec that do all these as after-school programs. And then, of course, people just bringing their kids. They sign up online to do that with us, and they come, and it's sort of like a short take experience, but we put them together with a mentor. They work for a couple of weeks before, and then these children get up in front of over 100 kids and parents and everybody, and with judges, and they pitch their event. And again, a remarkable process. And last year when we started it, it was amazing how many of those kids had not been in an elevator. We went up to like the 24th floor. You know, they had never seen the skyline of Houston from up high. So the experiences that we're giving these kids is more than just, you know, we're gonna have a lemonade stand. It's all the process. It's all learning so much.
The learning experience in so many different areas.
Yes, yes.
And tell us the simple thing about Lemonade Day, because if people want to get, yes, there is really a lemonade stand.
Yes.
We do on that day have lemonade stands all over Houston.
All over Houston, and so the process is we're teaching all of these lessons, and they're owning really their own business.
Right.
They are going to make money, and so all the decisions that you have to make when you start a business. There's a budget. They have to figure out how are they going to get the money to buy the supplies.
Right.
Do they need to get a loan? All of those things that go into advertising. How are we going to tell people that where my stand is?
Yep.
All of that is going to be going into the lessons that most of the kids are using Lemonopolis now online. And so they learn all that. Then on Lemonade Weekend, it's the first weekend in May, the second and third, those kids are all over town selling lemonade. They usually come up with something else to sell, with it or whatever. It's all their special ingredients to make their lemonade special. And then once they have made their money, we want them to turn in the results so they can reflect and see how they really did. What could I do better? What can I do next time? And then we ask them to share some, spend some, save some.
Oh, very good.
So those are the three-legged stool at the end of Lemonade Day, because it's their money. And you never do, if you're an entrepreneur, you always make money. And so they should spend some on what they want. One of the very first things they do in Lemonade Day in our process is to set their goals. And then we decide what they're going to give their money to. If they make money, is it going to be a charity, something that is important to them? And then, of course, we want them to save for that rainy day.
Right.
And will it be to invest? Will it be for college or whatever? Or maybe next year they'll have the seed money so they won't have to get a loan. They won't have to pay interest. All the things that they've learned.
Well, let me ask this, because it's a great lead-in to our next segment, talking about poverty with Donna Beal and getting ready for the No Poverty Summit at University of St. Thomas. So many of these kids come out of poverty.
Yes.
I remember when Michael Hauser started this whole thing, some of the kids who were able to have sponsors or kind of got the wherewithal to do it together, but he figured out, no, the bulk of kids we need to reach are the kids who don't have the wherewithal, the means to pull this together. So we got to figure out how to work that into. And I've seen some kids out of what we would still call today, and unfortunately I hate titles, abject poverty or impoverished, who through this program has really began to understand how money, how finances, how growth, how all that stuff takes place.
Yes.
And not only have educated themselves, but actually turned and educated their adult parents on how money really works.
Yes, and that's what I love about our program, because it's a life changer.
Yep.
It's a life changer for that child, for the trajectory of their life, but then they go home and they share it with their parents.
Yep.
I have a story of a little boy who was 7 years old who wanted to go and get a bank account because he had learned about saving. He wanted a savings account. His mother did not speak our language, so she went to the bank. She would just send him on in, just go on in.
Right.
And of course, you can't open a bank account without a parent.
Right.
They had someone who came and spoke to her in her language. They came, she went in. Now the family has accounts.
Yep.
Now the family doesn't have to go to where it charges them to check, to do their little checks and
pay
stuff.
their loans and all that.
Yeah, and they don't. So that changed not only that little 7. It changed the life of the family. And so to be a part of that, whether it be, as a sponsor, as a mentor, as a child doing it, it just makes sense. It just makes sense.
I remember one of the stories we did a few years ago associated with Lemonade Day. Again, that whole idea of generational poverty. No one in the family ever had a checking or savings account. This little kid was the first one in the family that ever had. And it changed their whole life. Because I think what happens in this process, we forget, those of us who are involved, that many of these kids and growing number of kids in Houston, Texas, don't have the opportunity, don't have the access to the opportunity that we take for granted that we all have.
Yes.
And I remember one of these kids in front of his lemonade stand, people were kind of walking by, they were kind of buying and engaging with him. One guy walked by, he looked at his stand, he looked at him, and he kind of turned, and the kid had enough gumption to say, now, tell me why you're not going to buy my lemonade?
Bravo.
And the guy just turned back around and said, well, I guess I'm going to have to now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know, because, and that was, I remember the little kid, he was shy in the beginning.
Yes.
But he realized that shyness is wasn't going to get him where he needed to go.
No. And it doesn't take that long.
No, it doesn't.
There's sometimes a little child will be behind their stand, and I'll say, why don't you stand in front of your stand?
That's what he came from
behind. It came from behind, and I saw that just a few months ago at something. And the little girl was, came up from behind, and then she was just beaming.
Oh, yeah.
And so you saw, we want to light a spark.
Yeah.
Not everybody that we teach may turn up to own a business.
Right.
But everything you do in life, you need the skills of an entrepreneur. You need that financial literacy.
And so many of those skills, the JA programs, a lot of the other things that you used to have in entrepreneurship, they don't exist anymore. Lemonade Day fills a good void.
It does, and it also starts early. We're in elementary school.
Right.
And that, the studies have been done. The earlier you start, the better to train our kids to where they need to be when they grow up.
All right, so give us again quickly where we can reach you, and then we'll be in contact.
Okay, lemonadeday.org/Houston.
And it's important that you kind of involve with some of these preliminary things so you can get a real feel.
Yes.
And you also get to interact with the children and some of the young people involved. And I love that you're starting this young professionals group because they need to get engaged and vice versa. I always say when you do those kind of things, the person benefits as much as anybody else who now are engaged in doing this process. But quickly, how many other cities and countries?
80. And 4 countries.
And is it always on the same day in every?
No, it depends because we have lemonade stands now, Lemonade Day in Canada.
Okay.
The first weekend of May,
it's
still snowing perhaps.
Exactly.
So yes,
okay.
so the early part of the summer. So yes.
So please avail yourselves of it. It's a great process. It's a wonderful group of people. You'll love interacting with them. It is one of those Houston gems and traditions that we have in the city that we want to make sure we continue and support it. It started here, it was born here in Houston, and now it's gone nationally and globally. But it is, to me, the tie back to me is all about poverty. It really, in the growing demographics, the numbers who they serve now and will be serving more in the future, because the school districts are changing that direction demographically. They have this unique program that really addresses the issues of poverty from the entrepreneurship side of it and helps you understand, all of us understand, that these are the type of programs, as simple as it may sound, there's a lot that goes into it, but as simple as it may sound, that we need to create more of going forward so that we can reach all children, so that all children have access to these kind of opportunities. We look forward to you joining us in the future as we discuss these issues. We're going to be here for you and with you. Thank you for your great ideas and suggestions for this year for some of the topics and subjects to be covered on future segments of Dialogue Houston. Until next time, as always, peace, power, and love.